Hi, welcome to lesson 13. Today we're going to try something really challenging that a lot of students ask me about. When we say I plan, and we say I plan ski, we have to change this to an activity, right? So I plan to ski, and I squeeze that sound. How about this one, I enjoy? We can't say I enjoy to ski or I enjoy ski. We say I enjoy skiing. Why? Why do we use to ski here, but we use skiing here? This one's called an infinitive. We always use to with a simple present tense verb. This one's called a gerund. We always use a simple present tense verb with ing. But how do we know which one? That's the hard part. Let's try it. All of us expected seeing you. This one doesn't work. Right? After the word expected, we always use an infinitive. Expected to see you. Why? Let's look at the two words, expected, see. What is the relationship between these two words? Well, first you expect, right? Later you see. So I'm expecting, I think it's going to happen, and then later I see you. It's kind of a future feeling or a future plan or a future idea, right? But another one, my parents finished to fix their sink. This one's incorrect, it doesn't work. We say finished fixing their sink. In this case, we always use a gerund after the word finished. Why? Well, maybe I'm fixing, and then I finish, and I stop. Which one comes first? First I'm fixing, then later I finish. So the order is the opposite. And this is a very common pattern. Usually, when we have a future plan, like wanted, we use an infinitive. Because wanted is the first action, and then later, paint my house. So I might say, I wanted to paint my house. That's a future idea. I need to paint my house. Right now I need, later I will paint. I planned to paint my house. First I plan, later I paint. I hoped to paint my house. First I hoped, after that I painted, right? I have to paint my house. And it's really common with desires, needs, responsibilities, things that will happen. But we also have gerunds. So when we say I enjoy, what do we say? I enjoy baking cookies. When does it happen? Baking cookies can happen anytime, right? Past, present, future. It doesn't matter. I remember baking cookies. Which one happened first? First I baked cookies in the past, then later I remembered. So it's the opposite order, right? I dislike baking cookies when? All of the time. So these ones don't have that future feeling that we talked about with infinitives, right? There's no future plan, there's no future desire. Some of them are really hard, like practice. You might think practice has a future plan. Practice baking cookies. Well, sometimes the rule doesn't work. But 90% of the time, this is true. So it's a pattern that you can practice. We're going to try something else today. We're going to study noun clauses. So when I have a subject and a verb, sometimes I want an object that's long. Instead of a noun, I use a noun clause. Now this is an incorrect one. Where will I move next year? We need to fix it. I decided where I will move next year. And we use a long noun to express an idea, but it works just like another noun. Right? So remember when we have where will I move? That's a question. We don't want a question in our noun clause. Instead, we want to change the order. I will move, subject verb. So this is the correct one, where I will move. We're going to practice using that in our lesson. Okay, so I hope you check that. We have 24 lessons. Last time we did lesson 12. So I want to review it a little bit. If you studied our last lesson, you probably forgot a little bit of what you learned. That's why it's time to review, get back up to 100%. Your skills need to be practiced every day or every few days. Right? It's like when you're building muscles. If you don't use your muscles, you're going to lose your muscles. And the brain is the same way. So we need to practice it. Yesterday I found an article in the newspaper, and I want to show you guys the sentences. We can talk about them. On Friday, January 13th, 2012, the Costa Concordia hit a rocky outcropping. Now, we have lots of parts here, but which part is the independent clause? Let me show you. In blue, I marked this, the Costa Concordia hit a rock outcropping. We have a subject, the boat. Hit is the verb. A rocky outcropping is the object. It's the same thing here. The vessel slid. It threatened to plunge 2,300 tons of fuel. We have our independent clauses. These are the parts that are complete, and the idea is complete. Now, what are the other parts? We have time, 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 time. Then we have a place. Further, onto the rocks is another place. We used a preposition and an object to talk about a place. What about this one? And. And is a conjunction, and we use that conjunction to connect two independent clauses. So we have the vessel slid, it threatened to plunge. Those two, we can connect them using a comma and a conjunction. And then later we have into the waters, that's a place, of a surrounding nature preserve. It tells us more information about the waters, right? We also had a caption contest in our last lesson. We have a winner, so check our page. On the 100% review section, you can see our winner. You can also check our Facebook page to see all of the students who entered the caption contest. We also had a writing activity. Students watched a video, and I asked you guys to send me a paragraph about the video that you saw. So let's look at an example. In this video, a little American boy came to see Chinese monks to learn Kung Fu in China, but the boy was refused from the monk. I thought this was great because this student used a conjunction, right? But something. And it's great because it shows a result, right? It gives you writing style. Here I would say refused by the monk. That's a small thing. We're going to study that later in one of our later lessons. He was too weak to be there. In 17 years later, he came again to the place. This is great because we shared time, and then we have an independent clause, connected, right? Here I would just say 17 years later. We don't need the word in. He was accepted from them. Again, I would say by them, and trained hard with them. This is great. With them is a preposition and an object that shares more information, right? Finally, he could even crush Pepsi can on his head. Now here I would say a Pepsi can because it's one, right? In my view, this is a very funny but meaningful video. It tells us never give up. I like that. The author shared an opinion at the end, a really strong paragraph, and using a lot of the skills that we practiced. So that's great. Our speaking, last time we did a excuse me activity. Now if you guys missed it on the website, I want to show you right now. Listen to the sentence, see if you can understand every word, and try to write the sentence. If you can't hear it, repeat it again. You can pause your video and rewind it.
As long as it doesn't rain in the afternoon, this weekend will be a good time to visit our place.
All right, did you get it? If you didn't get it, listen to it again, try it, go to our website, and see if you can get the answer. One student got really close, but not exactly right. So I hope someone will get it this week. Next thing, we have a new lesson, of course, and we studied some of that today. We studied gerunds, infinitives, and noun clauses. But the important part is the practice. So if you don't practice it, you're just listening to me talk, and you might forget some of it. If you go to lesson 13 on our site, you can do writing, you can do speaking, you can listen to a song, and you can do other activities that are going to help you develop your skills. So when you get to our site, you're going to see some parts. First, the newsletter. If you sign up for the newsletter, I can send you updates about new activities, an online class, new opportunities. You can also check us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Right? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook. I put some extra activities on Facebook too, so that could be useful. Our lesson is here, and our lesson has 6 parts. Review, we talked about last time. Learn, we learn new information. Practice, we use it together. Create, you use your skills alone without my help. 100% review, we do activities like songs, speaking, listening, stuff like that. That's going to help you build and develop your skills so you don't forget, and solutions. You can look at the answers, right? So I hope it's useful. Check our site, use it, and I'll see you on Thursday when we have a new lesson.